Hey bosses, this week's episode is sponsored by the all-new FreshBooks. Find out more about them later in the show or check out freshbooks.com/travel.
Welcome to the Travel Like a Boss podcast, the radio show all about traveling like a boss by being your own boss. Stay tuned for weekly interviews featuring guests that have built their own online businesses. If you would like to have access to our entire back catalog, visit travellikeabosspodcast.com for instant access. And here's your host, Johnny SD.
Hey guys, it's Johnny and welcome to episode 176 of the Travel Like a Boss podcast. I'm here with Rob
Bertholf
from
San Diego currently.
And where are we now?
Currently in Gran Canaria, Las Palmas, more specifically the Nomad City conference.
Yeah. So what's crazy is I think two episodes ago, I had kind of first heard about Gran Canaria.
Yeah.
It was, let me pull it up. It was episode 172, which was it was about a month ago.
Right.
And I interviewed a guy he's an Irish guy, and William McGuire, and he was telling me how much he liked Gran Canaria and that he's going to go back. And it just got me thinking, I should go to Gran Canaria.
Really? That was it?
That was it.
Wow. Did you know about this event before you came?
No.
Really?
Yeah. I knew nothing.
The irony is neither did I. I mean, or not the irony, the coincidence there. I'd actually had come for the Nomad Cruise, and then I wanted to just get away a little bit earlier. And so then I saw there was a co-workation that was Stuart and Denise were putting on. So I came to that. It was last week. And then when I came here, I didn't know how I was going to spend this week. And then I found out the Nomad City was happening. So it's
perfect.
Yeah, perfect.
Perfect. I think what we're going to try to do for Nomad Summit is try to have events before and after as well that aren't necessarily hosted by Nomad Summit or myself, but just other people that want to do something.
That's smart.
A week before, 2 weeks before. But actually, I was talking to the organizers of Nomad City and Nomad Cruise about this, and I think both of them agreed that it's good to have events right before, but that it was not a good idea to have it the day before. Oh, right. Because people are just exhausted.
Yeah, honestly, I feel like because I did the co-worcation and then this whole Nomad City thing, we were out, hanging out, and it's like, it gets a bit much, and so I think it is smart to have multiple events because that way you can capitalize on the kind of a location, but everything in moderation, I guess.
Yeah, or actually just even more spread out.
Sure.
So they were saying that what they will probably do next year is have Nomad City exactly 1 month before Nomad Cruise. That way people have an excuse to come to Gran Canaria, get a monthly apartment on Airbnb.
Oh, smart.
It'll be cheaper. They can save some money, explore the island more, and then go on the cruise.
Makes sense. Yeah. Nice.
So what made you decide to go on the Nomad Cruise?
Just kind of resetting, to be honest. Just trying to just get going again and reset. And so, I'd been wanting to I've been a location independent for, I don't know, for most of my career, but I just been kind of sitting in the house and, sitting in my home office in San Diego and thinking, I should be doing something, but then just, my own little personal reasons I just haven't been able to get out. And so, yeah, I just looked at it as an excuse, as an opportunity just to pull the trigger.
What's funny is I bet you there's a lot of people who are technically location dependent.
Right.
That just work out of a home in either San Diego or somewhere else in the US or somewhere else in the world.
Yeah, I'd love to bring, I love these kind of events that bring people together because honestly, I've been kind of starved for human, just talking to people has been kind of, when you're just stuck in your office and you're working on things, you start losing focus, you start losing perspective, you lose your why, and then you kind of, I don't know, for me, I should say, I can't generalize that, but yeah, this has been a great opportunity.
I like it. So how did you actually start with all this? What's your background?
The quick version of it, I've been in software development for about 20 years, marketing for about the last 10, and kind of moved more recently. I like kind of getting into things when they're kind of early on. So I got into SEO pretty early on, social strategy early on, and then really kind of got back into the software as a service space, and now looking to eventually, I've finished an application, but I just need to launch it. That kind of makes marketing a little bit easier.
And did you learn this in school, or how did you learn all these skills?
No, I mean, high school, I just kind of didn't fit in. I always say there's like, in Humboldt County, there's only two types of people. Humboldt County being Northern California, like the pot capital of the United States. There's only really two types of people. Those are cutting down trees and those that are hugging them. And I didn't fit either group. So I decided to get out of there. And, you know, honestly, the reason I decided to get out of there was because of the internet. And so, you know, I got my 9800 baud modem, you know, and I was connecting into, you know, my IRC chats and realizing that the world is bigger than just, the county that I lived in. Yeah, I just kind of followed that, I think computers have been my passion for as long as I can remember.
That's crazy. I'm sure a lot of people listening have no idea what a 9600.
Yeah, it was 9800. Then I got a 14.4 and a 56K. And then, yeah, I just kept working my way up.
Yeah, I remember when I upgraded from a 14.4 kilobyte per second modem to a 56K.
I was screaming
like,
fast.
Oh my God.
It was screaming fast.
This is insane. I can download a photo in less than a minute.
Yeah. I mean, it was hilarious back in the day when I think about it. Like, my first website, I think, was probably 93, 94, something like that. And
so you built a website in 93?
Yeah, my first one was called Robbie's Domain, you know, but it wasn't even a domain. It was actually just on like, I think it was on my local internet service provider gave me a little space. And then I got on to, let's see, it must have been XOOM. And then I think it was GeoCities. And then I think it was Angel Fire. You know, I mean, like I was prolific.
So guys, follow robbiesdomain.geocities.com/1778/
Yes. No, but they had like weird, like, subfolders of, like different, like neighborhood types. You know, I can't even remember the examples now, but it was weird. What a fun time.
Yeah. So, okay. So you've been doing actual internet businesses for a long time.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I feel like I've had different lives and I almost don't feel like it's almost feel like I'm different people in these different lives. I mean, like, you know, I had a military career. I did software development, military, mostly internet development. My job was information management, which is kind of, clerical to a degree. But I kind of just did, you know, I reached out and found a mentor that was, in the communication squadron and did internet development. I got out of the military, had a different life, moved to Hawaii, had a different life.
Why'd you move to Hawaii?
I got out, I was a staff sergeant and I kind of had an ego of like wanting to like not just like take an entry level job. I'd found a job with, Aston Hotels. It was like the large, resort in Hawaii. And so I was their director of e-commerce director of web innovation. I gave myself my own title, but it was director of e-commerce essentially. And I did that for a little bit. And yeah, I mean, it's odd though that I actually acclimate. I really like colder climates more. So I don't know what I'm doing here. Like I did 10 years in Hawaii. I've been in San Diego the last 3 years, but I'm just not a fan of hot weather. I think like Portland, Oregon would be kind of like my jam.
That's weird. I think most people in the world would love to live in Hawaii or San Diego because of the warm weather.
It goes like childhood trauma, not trauma, but I think, back in the day. So, you know, my mom got me a computer and, I'm on the computer but then she'd say like, hey, it's sunny outside. Go out and do something productive. You know, don't waste your time on the computer, you know? But when it was raining, she didn't bother me. And so when it rains, like I just feel so much more productive than when it's sunny out. I don't know.
That actually makes sense. Okay. But I actually think that your situation, at least, is very opposite what a lot of the other people here at Nomad City or going on the cruise is like. Where a lot of people starting out,
sure,
they don't have web experience or a business. And if anything, just, you know, even the weather thing, most people are chasing the summer where they're sick of winters and they have productivity issues where
right.
it's hard for people to focus and to actually just build a business.
Yeah, I don't know. I definitely think, I mean, look, coming here, a lot of the people are kind of younger, you know, and I'm
how old are you, by the way?
38 now. So yeah, I feel old, you know, I feel like, you know, am I too old to even be traveling? But then on the other hand, like I have conversations with these, you know, young whippersnappers, you know, and maybe I'll actually impart some help them avoid some of the hurdles that I faced. And so maybe that's kind of the beauty of having different ages at these events is.
Yeah, that's true. And also I think like what's kind of crazy is it seems like you have a good life, right? San Diego is probably really nice place to live. It's one of my favorite cities in the world. It sounds like you're very successful with your business, that you have no problem, like, you know, being your own boss and having that like independence. But at the same time, obviously you're looking like there's something lacking in your life for you to want to come here.
I mean, I wouldn't consider myself successful. I guess it's like really a scale, right? Like, I mean, yeah, I mean, not struggling, so that's success maybe to some people but honestly, like it's not, I don't know, I guess success is like a personal thing. I had a company when I got out of the military and I quit my first job. I had this idea that I was going to take over the world. And so I even filed a patent on systems and methods for a standard web platform, trademarked WebOS. Like I thought I was going to create the first operating system for the internet. And that time in my life, I would say that I was successful. I mean, I had a decent sized company. I had a dozen or so employees, about 700 customers. And like I was, kind of living the life. But the problem was like the ego kind of took over. And so I think it's been a while for me to like kill the ego. And now that I've killed the ego so much that it almost has like killed my drive to a small degree.
It's actually funny that you bring that up is because from day one that I met you, I always thought of you as that opposite of ego. Like you seem so humble, so down to earth. And I think you are today, but then that's crazy that you bring up that kills the drive as well.
I mean, to a degree, I think, look, so you asked the question, the leading question into this was, and I can't tell a short story and everything, because for me, it's like there's a linear tree of like logic. And if you don't know the context, then, like the intent and the context is to me more important than the data, but, or the surface data. But I mean, I think a piece of it is like, I am looking for something. I'm kind of looking for my why to a degree. I think maybe I'm just successful enough not to like be, out looking for my next meal kind of thing. But I'm not successful in the fact that I regularly get like upset at myself for just not being out there. And I think more recently I've spent last couple of years developing this platform, which is kind of a culmination of just my marketing knowledge, I guess, and then using my technical knowledge to build a tool that kind of helps augment marketing. And I just, so it's just weird for me because I've got it out there. I mean, it's done. It's been done. Right. And then I thought, well, I don't want a high customer acquisition cost. And so, I'm going to build get my customer acquisition through building a boot camp, and then, having them actually giving them a free license to the software and having them be my beta tasters. And so then I think, okay, well, to do that, I need to have like a really good course. I've been teaching at the university for like the last 6 years. Most of university.
What university?
University of Hawaii's outreach program.
Wow, nice.
So I'm not like it's like non-credit courses. It's not like I'm like an actual instructor or anything. It's like a faux instructor, but I've been teaching there for several years. And so I have like these I've got tons of curriculum, right? Like mostly it's in the acquisition marketing space, which is my strength, organic acquisition. So
can you explain what that means?
Yeah. So the idea is that when we look at kind of how we get customers, there's different marketing channels and there's different tactics on how to leverage the marketing channels. So for me, I got heavily into search engine optimization. I've got some geek credentials in that space. And then I got into social strategy because I saw that search was kind of becoming social. And then, I've been dabbling in email. And so it's this idea that like I've taken that I've been teaching at the university and then turning that into a boot camp that I can just, like give away. But I realized that, when I looked at it, it wasn't, everything about me has to have like a foundation. So I like holistic stuff. And so I thought, well, it needs to start with branding, right? Because, a lot of the things that I'm going to be talking about kind of assume that you already have your key messaging or you have some sort of, brand identity created. But I don't know. I think the people that I don't really, let's just put it like this. Branding has always been something that allows people to kind of hide in, there's kind of like the less tangible, I'm trying to be really nice here, but
no, just say
in a nutshell, I've met some people that are in branding that hide in the chaos, right? That hide in the ambiguity. And, and for me, like, I'm just like, I like just being really clear with things. So in a nutshell with this, I decided, okay, I'm going to learn branding. So like June, for pretty much 3 months, like all I did was like read everything possible about branding. Simon Sinek's, Why was like really a great one that since kicked it off. And so then I've created this like branding deck, but it's not me coming off as a branding expert. It's me coming across as I learned branding and here's how I learned it. So now that creates like the foundation I needed to finish up the rest of the course.
I like it. So during your research, were there any case studies or examples of companies that had branding on point and did it really well?
A lot actually. But it comes down to kind of what aspect, there's some brands really knew their customers. Some brands really knew, who they were, saying some knew who their customers were. I saw some that really, I loved how detailed their brand guidelines were, and just like how clear that is. But, I never really saw like a brand that like kind of did it all necessarily. But I mean, a lot of brands are doing a lot of really great things.
Okay. So any examples of bad brands or what a bad brand would do?
I mean, again, it's really not an area that I would call myself an expert in, but yeah, I mean, I've seen bad brands. For me, a bad brand is a company that doesn't know who they are. And I mean, I've done consulting with a lot of companies, and, you know, if they don't know their why, if they don't know their mission, if they don't know their vision on where they're going, then it's really hard to kind of execute on their brand, right? And then you don't have consistency, you know? So I don't have any brands I'm going to call out as like bad branding, but for me, it's just, you know, I don't think the takeaway here is I don't think people appreciate enough how important a good foundation is. If you have a good brand, you understand your positioning, you understand who your customers are, you can bring somebody in and they can just run for you. Otherwise, they have to keep checking back with you. And that's like, I think, you know, it's just hard to get momentum if you don't really know where you're at.
Okay. So I guess like as an example, I was talking to Nacho, the organizer of Nomad City.
Awesome guy.
Originally, I guess their brand was to try to get digital nomads to come and check out Gran Canaria because it's a great island and they want more digital nomads here. Tons of co-working space. It's just like a nice place to live.
Sure.
But then he realized that's actually a terrible idea to bring digital nomads here because they'll come for like a week or two and then they'll leave. Okay. And that's kind of not what they wanted. They want people to come and just live here. You know? Sure. So they realized, let's change the focus of Nomad City, the branding aspect behind it, from digital nomads to location independent workers or remote workers or, you know, things like that.
Right. No, I think that's brilliant. And again, that comes down to, you know, a lot of times people say niche in, right? And I totally agree with that. But I think that you can niche in too far, you know, and I think one of the things that I'll look at is like, you know, as an example, just search demand. So coming from an SEO background, you know, I love to look at search demand and figure out, okay, I look at kind of your potential audience as like a V or, you know, like a funnel essentially. And, you know, these general high level topics, you know, coming in and niching all the way down in. And you don't have to be at the very, very base of the funnel, right? You should probably be like, you know, 10 or 20% up the funnel and then kind of spider in, you know, and have kind of different little kind of mini segmentations within your brand that super serves like different nomads and, you know, location. My point is you can super serve the location independent and not alienate nomads, right? Because it's the same and I think it's a smart play.
Okay. That's good. And I actually think it's good because they're actually sponsored by the government of Gran Canaria, or the island of Gran Canaria.
Oh, no kidding.
Where they have these incentive programs where they want more remote workers to come here. They want to make it easy for, you know, for people to live here long term. So anyone who's already from the EU, they basically just show up.
Yeah.
You know, and they can just live here pretty much forever. I think technically it's 6 months. You have to like check in, but you can pretty much just live here. And then there's all these tax breaks where if you're from Sweden or Germany or somewhere where you have crazy income tax, you can become a resident of here and pay 4%.
That's insane. We were watching I was watching that talk this morning, and like the more I learn about this place, the more I love it. Truly.
Yeah. Me too. I think it's a little bit early. I'm going to write like a full blog post about it, like after I've been here for a month or two.
I look forward to that.
But so far, I would say Gran Canaria is paradise.
Yeah.
Like as in good weather year round, nice people, nice food, like good stable Wi-Fi and infrastructure. And if you are from the EU and it's cold where you live right now and you don't like the cold, there's no reason for you not to come here.
So I got to ask you this though. What do you think of the things like, look, we're not, it's like 7:00. We haven't had dinner yet. We'll probably have dinner in like 2-3 hours, you know, like how does that factor in? Like, isn't that a little bit weird?
So that's actually, it's funny that you bring that up because of the lifestyle, like the cultural differences.
Right.
I don't know yet if I'm personally going to move here. Like I'm actually thinking about it because I'm like, on paper, this is perfect. You know, it's a beautiful island. Weather's good. And the cost of living is very good. It's not as cheap as like Thailand. Yeah. You know, the weather's not as great as Thailand during the great time, but at the same time, it's not as hot as Thailand is during the bad times. So like overall, like it's just good, you know? But the cultural differences actually make me think, is this somewhere I want to live? You know, because as much as I actually enjoy speaking Spanish or practicing my Spanish, I don't know if I want to live my whole life speaking Spanish, you know, especially doing like anything to do with like bureaucracy, you know?
Mm-hmm.
It seems like a pain in the butt to register something in Spanish and have to deal with that laid back system where you kind of go back and forth to the office a million times.
Right.
Also having dinner at 10 or 11 p.m. and then going out until 6 a.m. for drinks. I don't want to do that. I'm an early bird. I like waking up early at 8 o'clock. Same. And it drives me a bit nuts that if I wake up at 8 and nothing's open and no one's awake.
What cracks me up, what cracked me up was they had I looked up brunch restaurants and the brunch starts at like 1:30.
Yeah.
Right?
Instead of 11.
Yeah, like I would expect at least like, I would have wanted to be like a 10:30, 10:30 brunch kind of thing. So it's definitely interesting. I mean, I love the area here. There's a lot of bread, like surprising, like everything is like bread focused here, which was, I mean, kind of like trying to detox a little bit. And so there's not a whole lot to eat.
Bread and beer and wine, it makes it very hard to be healthy here.
Yes.
Yet at the same time, people seem like relatively fit because you can walk everywhere.
That's true.
There's like lots of activities you can do in the water, in the mountains. To me, it's actually, maybe you can answer this better than me because I've only been to Hawaii. I was there last year just for like a month or less than a month, a few weeks.
Yeah.
But to me, Gran Canaria kind of reminds me of like a cheaper version of Hawaii where they speak Spanish.
I would have to agree with you there. I mean, there's a lot of similarities. I feel like one thing I liked about Hawaii that I haven't seen as much here, but I've heard that it is the forestation, right? Like the greenery. Like the guys that went up on top and they said there's a whole like part of the island that gets really green and really lush. I think maybe we're just in like a dry side of it, maybe. I don't know, but I love the green. And so here it seems like a little bit brown for me.
So, I know exactly what you mean because when I flew over, it looked like I was flying over the Grand Canyon.
Yeah.
It was just brown, desert. But I've seen like aerial footage, like videos of Gran Canaria, and it looks like there is like lush. I don't know if it's not jungle, but like forest, like green forest.
Yeah. No, I people keep telling me this. I just haven't personally seen it yet. Yeah. But I mean, going back to your example, I think it is very similar. It's like a Hawaii meets Europe kind of thing, which is a cool vibe. Yeah. So,
like, what about the island reminds you of Hawaii?
Oh, definitely the temperature. It seems to be very kind of like a fixed, consistent temperature, water temperature. I mean, I was out doing the what was that? I did snorkeling, and then I did the dolphin tour. Fantastic. That reminded me. I could have honestly on the dolphin tour, I could have thought that I was on Maui or Oahu completely. Even the size of the mountains and everything.
Yeah, and as far as the weather. So the weather here it's strange because it's actually perfect. Yeah. Where it's never actually that hot.
Right.
Like, I think it never gets over. I haven't looked it up, but I think it never goes over like 30 degrees, which is what 80 or 90 or something. Yeah. And it's always around like that 24, which is like 75, 85, but it's sunny.
Yeah.
So it's never too hot like Thailand, and it's never too cold.
It doesn't seem too humid either.
Yeah.
Because the one that gets me is the humidity. Like having to like take a shower like 5 times a day, like to me here, it's pretty okay here.
Well, and the strangest thing about Gran Canaria is even though it's an island, that's actually not that big. I think you can drive like from the north to south, like the longest possible road in like a few hours.
Nice.
But people say that it's like its own continent because they have actually different weather in the south and in the north. So we're in the north in Las Palmas.
Yes.
And they say it's always mild here. It's never that hot. But if you wanted to have like a really hot sunny beach day, you just have to drive like 2 hours to the south.
Right.
And it's like, then you'll have the 90, plus degree days.
It was interesting that the south seemed to be like the quote unquote touristy part of the island. And it didn't seem to have any there was like no locals down there. It seemed to be just like all tourism. This is the spot you want to be at. I mean, like I just kind of fell in love with just like the cities and walking through and like there's like so many different shops and restaurants and things to do here. It's really cool. I don't know.
Yeah. So Las Palmas, for you guys that don't know, is I guess the northern part of Gran Canaria, which is part of the Canary Islands. And if you're not literally on the beach, if you're not on that boardwalk, you're just one block in, it feels like you're in a big city in Spain. Yeah. So it kind of felt like Barcelona or like some of these other cities. You actually forget that there's a beach. You're just like in a city.
I think also Las Palmas got rated, and I don't know this for a fact, but I think there's something about it has like somebody was telling me something about one of the better beaches in the world, in the city beaches, I should say, in the world, because it has that long Canteras or something like that, that really long strip.
La Canteras.
Yes, exactly. That's fantastic. I mean, like you don't really have, even here's the weird thing, like even in Honolulu, even in Hawaii, I should say, there's no real restaurants that are like on the beach, right? Which kind of blows your mind. You know, all the restaurants are so far withdrawn from it. And so it's nice, like sitting like, you know, right on the beach, having dinner, you know, kind of thing. So
yeah. So La Canteras is the main tourist beach of Las Palmas in the north, which isn't as touristy as the south, which is weird because the airport's here, which means people have to get on like a 2-hour bus to go to the south to go to the resorts. But I've heard the reason why that is the weather is better in the south because the mountains kind of capture the clouds. And then what happened was during the financial crisis in Spain, the country sold off a lot of its real estate. And like international, like kind of tour companies and hotels and resorts just bought the whole south. They bought the entire south, so nobody can build anything there. So they're not building local housing or anything for locals. It's just resorts. While Las Palmas is, you know, was kind of just unaffected by that because the weather wasn't as sunny. So, you know, so the tourists didn't want to stay here, even though to me it's better. Like I'm like you, where I don't want it to be 100 degrees. I don't want it to be hot and humid all the time. I like enough sun where I can lay on the beach. And even the water temperature is not super warm like Thailand. Like Thailand water temperature gets to like, I think cold in Thailand would be 28 Celsius, which is, I don't know, like 75 or something. And then it gets to like 32, which is actually too hot to be in. Like when I go in the water, I don't want to be in a bathtub. It just feels kind of awkward, you know? And I think that's also why the water here seems cleaner because you don't have as much, I don't want to say parasites, but like you don't have as much bacteria from the warm water because it's too cold here for to live. And that on top of, unlike places like Bali and like Indonesia where they throw all the garbage in the water, like here, the water is clean. Like it's really clean.
It's a very clean city, it seems. Yeah. The streets are clean, everything. Yeah.
Yeah. I guess it's because we're in Europe, you know, we're like in a, you know, first world country.
But you bring that up. I didn't. So when I booked a trip to Las Palmas, I knew it was an island off of Spain. I didn't know it was an island off of Morocco.
Yeah,
right. It's like this is off of Africa. This is not off of Spain.
So I didn't know this until about 2 weeks ago. Before I came, I assumed this was near Ibiza or like Palma de Mallorca.
Okay,
which is the like
other,
like east
side.
of Spain.
Yeah.
But I looked on the map. I'm like, oh my god, we are crossing the continent of Africa. And we are way closer to, you know, like the West Sahara than we are of Spain.
Right. Yeah, it's bizarre. I was going to make it a trip over there, but I thought I didn't want to like go and spend 1 or 2 days, you know, and so I thought, no, I'm going to come back and I've got to explore that. I mean, I've been wanting to explore that area for a long time. So.
But that's why the climate here is so good. Because in places like Ibiza, it's only nicer in summer, then it's a little bit cold in the winter. And that's why people come here in the winters because it's like kind of that year-round temperature. And as we're talking about with the water temperature, it's actually chilly. It's like 24 degrees in the water all the time, which means you have to have a wetsuit when you are in the water for like a prolonged period of time. So if you're like surfing for an hour or if you're scuba diving, you like definitely need a wetsuit. Unlike Thailand where you don't because it's so warm. But at the same time, it's warm enough where like I go snorkeling pretty much every day. And even though it's chilly, it's fine to go, you know, with just shorts. And it's actually refreshing. I kind of like it.
No, it is. I mean, I am excited to see what Thailand has to offer. I've never been to Thailand. So like I told you, I'm heading there in about 3 weeks. No, 5 weeks, something like that. So looking forward to that.
So you're going on the Nomad Cruise.
Going on the Nomad Cruise.
From here to Panama, which is South America.
Right. And I'm going to spend about a week in Central America somewhere. I haven't really decided.
South America or Central?
I mean, Central America somewhere. I haven't decided. And then I'm going to go back to San Diego for about a week, see my cat, and repack my bags, and then heading to Thailand for about 3 weeks.
Wow. So you're going to go, you're going straight. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Why?
Why to Thailand?
Yeah. And like, why now? Like, why so soon?
I've actually had the Thailand trip booked for about a year and, just kind of had it booked and just you pull the trigger on something just because I needed to like do some sort of vacation. And so that was actually going to be the first vacation for me to like just start like getting out and going. And then I just didn't want to wait that long. And so that's why I booked the cruise and kind of started backdating my travel. So,
okay. I like it. And all kind of works out. Hey guys, let's take a real quick break so I can hopefully get you paid. So as a small business owner, I know I personally forget to send out or follow up on invoices all the time. And I bet you, especially if you're traveling a lot, you might too. And the problem with that is we are leaving money on the table by either completely forgetting about people who owe us money or haven't paid their invoices on time. So whether you're a freelancer, you're a small business owner, or you just need to collect money, if you are bad with numbers or with following up, you'll definitely want to check out the all-new FreshBooks, the cloud accounting software. So my favorite feature is probably their automated late payment reminders. What that does is it allows FreshBooks to help you avoid that awkward talk or that conversation with the client, even that awkward email about past due reminders. So FreshBooks automates the late payment email reminders so you can spend less time chasing payments or having awkward conversations and more time working your magic and actually getting things done. FreshBooks is offering a 30-day unrestricted free trial to my listeners. To claim it, just go to freshbooks.com/travel and enter Travel Like a Boss in the How Did You Hear About Us section. So, from the people that we met so far,
yes.
I think you're going to meet a lot more people on the cruise. You're going to have a lot more time to get to know them because you're there. Well, what is actually the cruise? Like, can you tell everyone?
Sorry?
Like, what is the actual Nomad Cruise?
So, yeah, the Nomad Cruise is, I think there's about 250 of us going. Like I said, it's my first year, so I don't fully know the space. But it's kind of funny to talk about meeting people. I feel like at this point, because we're like, 2 days away from the cruise, I almost don't have the energy to meet new people. There's so many new people who show up just for this event. I almost don't have, because we have like maybe 50, 60 people that I've been, that I'm like buddies with now, I don't have the energy to meet more people that are not going to be on the cruise because I've been meeting so many cool people here that aren't going. And it almost feels like, you really want to keep building that relationship with them and then they're already leaving, so we'll connect again, I'm sure. But
I actually felt that way. Like I felt like a disappointment in everyone's eyes when I told them I'm not going on the Nomad Cruise.
I was really disappointed. I wanted to hang out with you.
I'm sorry, buddy. Well, we'll always have the podcast.
I'm coming to January, so
Nomad Summit, January 20th.
I have to be there.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So you're going on the Nomad Cruise on Monday.
Yes.
And it's for 2 weeks.
2 weeks.
Pretty much on sea most of the time.
Yeah, I think we're stopping off 4 times.
Okay.
3 or 4 times.
So if you guys haven't heard of the Nomad Cruise, basically what it is this guy named Johannes had this brilliant idea where he's like, well, how can we get a bunch of nomads together in a place where everything's taken care of? Food, drinks, accommodation, have time just to give talks and learn from each other and hang out. And a normal cruise is pretty expensive. And it's like you're always kind of doing something, so you only have time to just chill. But what they have these repositioning cruises that happen twice a year when it gets too cold in Europe for people who want to cruise. So then they move the entire cruise ship from Europe to Central or South America. Like
that's why it's so cheap. Smart.
And instead of having it be empty for those 2 weeks, they just have these great deals to fill up the rooms.
That makes a lot of sense. When I saw the price, I was like, I don't know how how it works. Cause I didn't, other cruises are, you can't get out of there with less than 10 grand, So like, this is like crazy.
I don't know about 10 grand, but maybe, yeah,
it was the last cruise.
Wow. You spent 10 grand on a cruise? I guess it depends on how long it is. Cause I think cruises, from what I've seen, it really depends on like how many days it is.
Right.
So I normally think of a cruise as like a 3-day cruise, like, and it's like, last minute special or something. But I guess you're right. Like if I think about the cruises that people go to like Alaska or something and it's like over a week, it's bare minimum is $5,000.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah. This was actually for 2 people. So I think it was, just over 10 for 2 people. So 7-day cruise.
So where did you go on your last cruise?
Last cruise was actually Alaska.
Oh, there you go.
Which was nice. It went with Oceania, which was really good. It seemed like a really good brand, good food.
Okay.
But this one here was weird. So I'm on like this full detox, like, no drugs, no alcohol, no sugar, no, even like really no bread. I'm really trying to, and I'm just doing that for myself, just trying to kind of get back and really kind of get, I don't know, just reset, to be honest. But it's the worst time to do it because there's so much free beer here. There's like so much tapas that's all bread. And so I walk around and I'm drinking water, for like the last week. I mean, I've lost like 12 pounds in 2 weeks. So,
congratulations.
Yeah. So
but at the expense of not enjoying the tapas and wine.
Yeah. I'm definitely missing out on something, but in the other side, like, I don't know. I feel a lot more alive. Like people have like commented that I feel like that I've got like a glow to me or something weird.
You have great energy.
It's honestly, I would actually attribute the energy to just resetting and just kicking all of the stimulants, you know?
You know what? It's crazy because even though I've really been enjoying myself, eating, tapas, which is always basically bread, cheese, and like cured meats and, stuff like that.
Heavy stuff. Yeah.
And, drinking wine, drinking beer. That part I'm definitely enjoying. Like there's, like I'd be lying if I said I don't enjoy that.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I haven't been enjoying life as much. Like I'm tired every day. I'm like sluggish, brain fog. I don't even have the energy to like meet people and want to like do things. Like someone says, "Oh, do you want to drive down to the south of the island and go snorkel?" I'm like, "No, I don't want to do that." Like I just want to chill. But I remember when I was eating a really strict clean diet. So I was eating like a super paleo diet, no sugar, no alcohol, nothing. And I actually wrote a book about it. It's called Life Changes Quick.
Okay.
And that was when I was first trying to figure out my life. And I was like, I'm going to get in shape. If nothing else, I'm going to get in shape before I leave Thailand.
Nice.
And I started with that diet and I felt better than I've ever felt in my life.
Honestly, I feel my mind I do feel sharper. I do feel more awake. I feel more aware of like my surroundings and stuff. And it's just interesting. The last year I was kind of in a little bit of a depression. And so I was just not myself, and just feeling the fog and so it's not only just coming out of that but it's also feeling the contrast of like just the last year of just kind of being sedated for the most part.
I know exactly what you mean. And the worst part is because I know I'm sedating myself.
Yes.
By eating bread, drinking beer, just not being healthy.
Yeah.
I'm just like, and I see you how much energy you have. I'm like, you know what? I need to get back on that.
Dude, but here's the thing. I'm not actually missing, like, there's a piece of me that says, hey, that would be good to have that. But it's not like I'm like, not really depriving myself. So last night we did tapas night and, I found the little sushi joint there. And I just asked them if they could make me some sashimi. They made me like really fresh salmon sashimi with, like a half an avocado. Dude, like,
and that's amazing. It's healthy. It's good.
I didn't miss the rice, like it was a phenomenal meal, So, I mean, yeah.
I like it. Yeah. And you know what? It's never an excuse. It's just about what our priorities currently are.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
I agree. I'm proud of you. I'm very, very proud of you for that.
Thanks, man. I'm actually surprised at my willpower here, but
yeah. Well, actually what's funny is when I went on the cruise last year, not the Nomad Cruise, just a cruise with my parents actually.
Nice.
And I thought, you know what? It's a buffet, and even at the restaurant, you can order as much, whatever you want. Mm-hmm. I'm just going to eat super clean paleo because I can go and just load up on vegetables, guacamole, and like steak, and then I can work out all day because I'm on a ship.
Right.
I ended up doing none of that. It was like literally I think on the second day, like you're sitting around having like a 3-hour meal every day because there's nothing else to do, and people ordering dessert. And I was like, and I just totally gave up on it.
Yeah, I think it'll be good. I don't know. I think it'll be easy to eat there. Hopefully they got fruit and whatever and everything. And I should have.
I guarantee with your willpower, and if you make it your priority, you'll be able to stay on track. And I hope you do.
I think the first week is the hardest. I think I'm at like week 4 now, so like I'm pretty much good.
Yeah, I like that. So as far as like business, because there's not really going to be any Wi-Fi on the boat,
right?
So what are you going to do about running your business, making money, things like that?
Sure. So, I mean, I have like 2 different teams. And I just kind of loaded them up with tasks and just told them what needed to happen. And, the guys that like can't, like if I didn't give somebody any tasks, then I just told them to go on vacation, No, I'm good for the next couple of weeks. I mean, really, the things that I want to be working on is like, I want to record my course because I've got the decks done. I just need to pull the trigger and just sit down and record it. And like, honestly, the thing that stopped me like a couple months ago from recording it was like, well, I just look too fat. I don't want to record this thing when I look so fat. It's not, it's just kind of funny. That was like my excuse. But anyway, I'm thinking about recording that on the cruise. And then a lot of the stuff I've been working on that events directory for the Nomads. Like we're actually, global citizen kind of event directory. And, that I can just do on my local host. So I'll get that banged out, finished up this week, get the data populated.
Nice. So with recording, obviously you can do that without internet.
Yes.
As long as you have enough hard drive space.
Yes. I got plenty.
Okay, good. And then creating the website, I guess you can do it, you can create it offline.
Yes.
As a programmer.
Yeah. So I'd built, so it's been built since, midweek. What I need to do is just kind of go in and just kind of like populate some data into it and, just kind of put a little bit of kind of tweaks on the user flow. But yeah.
Yeah. Okay. That's interesting to know because I think the biggest kind of concern most people have about going on a 2-week transatlantic cruise is even though it'd be fun that you're around a bunch of nomads, that it's almost ironic that you have a bunch of digital nomads who work online that don't have internet.
Yeah, that struck me as odd, but it doesn't affect me. But like I thought that was odd for other. I mean, you pretty much have to look at it like a vacation, like not like a working thing.
Yeah, and if anything, I think so. Okay, so to be fair, there technically is internet. But first, it's something like $15 a day, which really adds up. Ends up being like $300 during the trip. And then I think it's very limited as well.
The thing that gets me is I don't mind the price. What bothers me is that it's only for one device.
Yeah, okay.
That just drives me crazy. You know, it's like, you know, like at least, you know, I'll pay your $15 a day, but like I should be able to use it on multiple devices.
Well, they definitely do that because they don't want people to sharing passwords or like having, you know.
Right. Well, I mean, I think the idea is I'll probably just run it through like one device and then just tether all my other devices to it.
Well, good luck with that because from what I've heard from previous years, that the internet works once in a while, but not most of the time.
Fair.
And it's crazy that the technology, you know, it's not Nomad Cruise's fault. It's the technology of satellite internet and also being in the middle of the ocean is just not like that stable.
Well, look, I'm at like what would be considered a nice hotel here, Hotel Cantor. Their internet is horrible. It cuts out every 15 minutes.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So it's like, you know, like if you can't get a, you know, decent internet at whatever, a 4-star hotel or whatever it is, then like how are you going to get decent internet on the middle of the ocean?
Well, what's ironic is that I'll like sometimes be staying, like I was staying at an Airbnb in Ukraine at like a terrible Airbnb too.
Yeah.
Like I remember the photo of the place looks so bad. And the title, you know how normally they say like, you know, 2-bedroom by the, you know, whatever. The title was literally flat.
Flat?
Yeah.
Okay.
Which I guess, which is another word for apartment.
No, yeah, I get
but
that.
like, imagine like
nondescript.
Yeah, so nondescript. Like, oh, what are you like? You know, like what's the place you're renting out?
Yeah.
Flat.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow.
But the internet was incredible.
Yeah. They should have just led with that fast internet and a place to put your head.
Yeah. Fast internet, flat.
Yeah, flat. That'd be funny. Yeah, definitely. Kind of, that is one thing I've missed being over here is the fast internet. I just upgraded, like, I was getting about 325 down, in San Diego in my house. And so like here, it's, yeah.
Well, but that's because you're staying at a hotel. I think it depends. I think some people are getting 300 down
really
at their apartments here. Yeah.
Nice. Yeah. I'll just blame it on the hotel.
Yeah. So what are you looking forward to most on the cruise?
Again, the reason I want to go on the cruise was to just kind of, reset myself, and meet people. I've been kind of a hermit. Like, you know, I've probably, you know, anyways, so I've just been kind of a hermit. So I thought this would be a good opportunity to do that. But it's almost like I've been so social the last 2 weeks that like the Nomad Cruise is like just gonna be more of the same, which is I'm loving. But, I'm just gonna reset and chill out.
I like it. And I think it's going to be, so far, like the people I met going on it, it's either kind of like one or two directions. It's either people are just starting out, so they don't actually have any responsibilities yet. Right. They're either like on a gap year, they quit their job, they're on a sabbatical, they're still trying to figure out what they want to do. So they don't actually have any responsibilities. Right. Or people like you who already are successful that are like, okay, I need some time to kind of reset and kind of figure out what I want to do. I think it's not really for people that have to be online. It's definitely not for people that have to be online running a business day to day.
Not at this point, right? Until they improve it. But I think if I were to answer the question, like, what do I want out of it? Like, my ideal situation would be like, just to be there and mentor some people, you know, like I kind of feel like that's kind of my role now. So since I've been in San Diego, I don't teach as much. And so I kind of miss the teaching aspect. And, I don't know, like when I look at, and this is kind of off topic or whatever, but when I kind of look at like the nomad community, one of the pieces that I and again, this is an outside perspective, but it doesn't seem like it's as sustainable as it could be. I think I've seen stories of people as like, you know, look, I've talked to 2 people here that have said, oh, I just quit my job and I'm going to be a digital nomad. And I says, oh, nice. What area? And they're like, well, I don't know yet. I'm like, okay, well, what have you been learning? Well, I have to learn some skills. Oh, okay. You must have big savings. No, I've got like $500. Okay. I applaud that. Like, and that's the problem, right? Because I don't want to be that limiting guy. Like, I don't want to like limit them and being like, hey, that doesn't sound very smart. Because I'm sure there's a lot of people that have just just gone out on a limb and made it, right? Because that, you have more of a drive when you need to do it. But I don't know. I would love to like my ideal, what I was thinking about doing was just like renting like a big house and then letting people come in and just doing like almost like indoctrination camps, kind of thing. Like, look, here's some skills, understand their passion, do different kind of, sprints kind of thing based on different sets, and then help them just go out there. I don't know.
It's a great idea, and Chiang Mai would actually be the perfect place to do it.
But you told me though that I shouldn't. I mean, not that I shouldn't, but you told me there were some pitfalls when you tried doing that a little bit, or
no, I tried doing that in Ukraine. Okay. And people weren't trying to be digital nomads. People just wanted a stable job to make $2 an hour. And even though I was trying to teach them for free, for no financial gain on my part, I just wanted to teach them how to use Upwork and Fiverr, because I'm like, if you made $4 an hour, you'd make double the salary of a doctor in Ukraine for doing something online that I could teach you.
I didn't interrupt. Maybe I should organize a boot camp for the early part of January. Before your conference.
You know what? That'd be amazing.
It'd be fun, right?
It would definitely be amazing. Okay. Let's talk more about that. If there is, I'll make sure I announce it on the Nomad Summit email list. So get your tickets at nomadsummit.com if you haven't already.
I'm going to be there. I'm looking forward to it.
All right. If people want to follow you, are you on social media or anything?
So on Twitter, I'm at Rob.
Yeah. And at Rob?
Yeah.
Wow.
I've got some geek credentials. I mean, I guess I am a little bit humble, but
you're super humble. Anybody that has their first name on Twitter as their handle is a big deal.
Yeah. Yeah. So you can follow me at Rob on Twitter. I don't think most people use Twitter anymore, but it's there. Instagram, I'm using DIY DIFM for my kind of public one. And then I have a private one that's more just cats and food. Nobody wants to be there. But yeah.
I'm going to follow you. I'm following at Rob right now on Twitter. Nice. This is amazing. We need to get you the verified sign. That'd be even better.
It's funny. Actually, a lot of people actually call me at Rob. That's the nickname that they call me, but I don't know.
I love it. Very cool. All right. Well, have fun on the cruise.
Thanks, man. I appreciate. So I got to say this. Okay, real quick. My impression of this whole scene is so much better than I could even possibly imagine, because so I did some research, as I was looking at, and I found like you as an example, there's some people that are doers, right? They're big deals. And so we sat down, we were in the co-working C, Nacho's co-working space here. I sit down, I don't know you from Adam at the time, and you were just so nice and just so approachable, and then it's just the whole scene is like that. I just love the whole community because there's not a lot of ego. There's not a lot of posturing. There's it just seems like a bunch of really just genuine people. And that's if I'm being really honest, and I'm not trying to be negative here, but a lot of the networking stuff I've gone to in San Diego and other places is, they lead with what do you do? They lead with how much do you,
how can you help me?
Yeah. It's really kind of a weird scene. And here, everybody is just so cool and so chill.
Yeah, I like that as well. And it reminds me of freshman year in college.
Okay.
Where the first day, the first week, everybody's excited. They're like, "Hi, I'm Johnny." Which dorm are you in?
Yes, seriously. Yeah.
So I like that. I hope that never does. This is what I try to preach and promote. That's why this podcast has always been free. I have on guests like you who are super generous and just opening up, teaching what they know. The Nomad Summit, I always try to keep it affordable for everyone. Actually in Chiang Mai, we actually have weekly Nomad coffee meetups where people just volunteer and teach whatever they know every single week, every Friday. Yeah. And that's always been free. And I think we've been doing this for over 2 years now. So there's definitely, you're 100% right. There's so many generous people in this community. It's weird. I'm glad I think it finally faded, but for a while, last year, people were really hating on the digital nomad community on Twitter, on anonymous Facebook groups, not Twitter, on Reddit.
Yeah.
And people were saying the whole digital nomad scene is a scam. It's it's all that.
But here's the thing. I actually started, so I looked into a little bit of that, right? And that's what I was talking about a minute ago, but I was just kind of being a little bit vague with it. But what gets me is that people show up with really unrealistic expectations, right? Of this get rich quick kind of thing. And it's that's why I don't know. That's why I really want to show them as an example. I don't think the nomad community even appreciates what SEO is. right? Like everyone that I've been talking to, I'm like, oh, I do SEO. And they're like, oh, but like, do you do Facebook ads? I'm like, dude, like seriously, that's your prioritization?
Well, I think it's just because it's hot right now. And you know what? And you're right. That's actually the biggest problem with kind of new nomads.
Sure.
It's they read a few things online and they're like, okay, that is what I'm going to do.
Right.
Without actually understanding how to do it, without actually taking the time to learn it.
Right.
And like, traditionally you would go to college or you go to take a course on how to do it. Now you have online courses. But at the same time, now people are like, well, no, I watched a YouTube video. And sometimes YouTube videos are really good and in depth. Sure. But sometimes they're not.
Right.
And I think it's weird because I actually really try to tell people what you should do. The smart thing to do would be to stay home first, build some kind of online income.
Yes.
And even if you're making $500 a month, come out here, you can scale that very easily. Because then you'll have the time.
But get some sort of base.
Yeah. And, but the reason why I tell people, don't wait until you're making, a full-time income is because two things. One is you can survive off of $500 a month in Chiang Mai.
Sure.
Like I was spending $600 a month for a long time. It's doable. It's very cheap. But second, if you can make $500 a month online and then you're living in a place like Chiang Mai where there's a bunch of other people.
Well, it seems like there's opportunity there. Yeah. Right? Is that what I kind of feel?
It's not even an opportunity. It's more like everyone else is hustling. Everyone else is like, is working. You get ideas. You meet smart people.
Nice. And then you'll have the time to focus on just building your business,
instead of having a 9-to-5 job and doing this on weekends by yourself. Then I would guarantee anyone, if you could figure out how to make $500 online by yourself working, on a weekend, or at night after your day job, I guarantee you can take that same business, whatever it is, and
focus
scale
100%,
that,
to
$2,000 a month once, within a few months in Chiang Mai.
I totally am with you on that. I think for me, it's like I just think people need to figure out what they want to do, because if you come on if you've got 1 month runway and you have to figure out what you want to do, then learn how to do it and then start on it. Like you may not even choose something that you actually want to do or actually should even be going down, right? Because you may just be doing it, like taking on whatever it is that you need to do just to make minzy meat, versus something and you may get stuck at that level, right? Versus thinking of something like what's my big picture plan? How am I going to get there? Okay, now let's execute on it.
And I 100% agree with you. But the only reason why I can't really blame these people is because I did the exact same thing that all of them are doing.
Okay, fair.
I had no money. I sold my car.
Okay.
Moved to Thailand and was like, okay, I'm here.
And again, that's the reason, like, I don't want to be limiting on people. Like, it's just this impression that I had. And it's more like, not like I want to condemn people for just jumping out and doing it. It's more like, hey, I know there is a better way and I'd love to be a part of the solution, I guess, is the bigger picture.
I like that. But I think so I think the reason why a lot of people just jump out here without knowing what they're doing is because they know that if they didn't, there's a big chance they never would come in the first place.
That's true.
And that there's no way.
Fully true. Yeah. Fully. Yeah. It's definitely not a white or black situation. Like, saying there's a gray area of this. And no, I mean, good for people for being doers. For me, at the end of the day, if you're a doer and you have to go home, you didn't fail. that was your first iteration.
Yeah. And if anything, I think of it this way, right? Let's say, you take your $500, right?
Yeah.
You go on the Nomad Cruise, you go to Chiang Mai, and then, you give it a shot, right?
Yep.
You're like, okay, I'm going to figure out what I do. You don't figure anything out. Your money runs out after 2 months.
Right.
You go home. What did you lose? If anything, you just gained a cool experience.
Definitely.
It was like a different type of traveling. And then if you liked it, then you'd be like, okay, I'm going to work my butt off at whatever job I hate.
Sure.
And then I'm going to make it work the next time.
Yeah. No, totally makes sense. I think all you lose is a little hurt ego, and,
you get inspired,
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think at the end of the day, neither of us have the right answer. I think the right answer lies within each one of you.
It's a personal thing.
Yeah.
It absolutely is. So, no, I mean, so the whole tangent I was going on was actually just to come around and say, seriously, thank you. Like I'm excited there's people like you in the community that are making this a reality for people. So
I appreciate that. Man. And you know what? It sounds like you're going to be doing the same thing. So thank you.
I hope to lend to it. I do.
Yeah. I like it. Very cool. So follow @Rob on Twitter or any of the sites that he mentioned earlier. It seems like the last talk just ended and we're probably going to go out for tapas and beer again.
Let's do it.
So thanks again, Rob.
Right
and
on.
I'll see all of you guys next week or maybe out here in Gran Canaria.
Right on. Thanks, guys.
All right. Bye-bye.
Thank you for listening to the Travel Like a Boss podcast. If you want to hear more, including the bonus How to Choose the Perfect Niche episode, join our mailing list at travellikeabosspodcast.com. See you next week, and remember, if you want to travel like a boss, you need to be your own boss. So start your online business today and start living the lifestyle you've always dreamed of.